The discussions with our colleagues.
Former Prime Minister Right Honorable George Cato Price died on September 19, 2011. The recent debacle surrounding the city 60 workers of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank has stirred much discussions and debate both among the general public and the elected representatives. And today, the silence from the unions ended as the Belize Energy Workers Union and the Belize Communications Workers Union issued separate releases regarding the issue. In the release from the Energy Workers Union, it stated, quote, "The unfair situation being faced by our sisters and brothers at the First Caribbean Bank CWU and BTL workers BCWU has come to the attention of our union. We call on the employers first of all to desist from using these unfair tactics against these employees, robbing them from the little benefits they have accrued with blood, sweat, tears, and years of loyalty, which has made wealth for the principals in the millions of dollars. We also call on the Prime Minister of Belize, the Honorable Dean Oliver Barrow, to intercede in fairness on behalf of the workers, since the playing field is not leveled and it is now favoring the employers. We call on the rest of the unions to show solidarity with these workers and to remember that tomorrow may be our turn as well. But most importantly, we call on you, the Belizean public, to use the democratic system to help these workers in their hour of need. Call or contact your area representative and give him your directives in this regard. After all, they are there to represent us and to act on our behalf." End of quote. With the unions now coming together in solidarity, the media asked the head of the Belize Energy Workers Union, Marvin Mora, whether the state of affairs has reached the point where they may be a repeat of the 2005 riot that occurred in downtown Belize City. Meanwhile, there was a second release coming out of the Belize Communications Workers Union regarding the matter of the Belize Telemedia Limited and the recent passing of the Acquisitions Bill in the House of Representatives. That release reads, quote, "Despite meeting with members of the Union Executive of the Belize Communication Workers Union, BCWU, on Monday, 14 September 2015, Anwar Barrow, the Prime Minister's son and chairman of the Executive Committee at BTL, was not brave enough to tell the union that Daddy was calling a press conference less than 2 hours later to announce that the government had arrived at a settlement with the Lord himself. The union says the gross disrespect goes beyond anything they had experienced under Smart Said in an effort to maintain a harmonious and healthy industrial relations climate with the UDP government and the management of BTL. The BCWU has been a silent pillar of support, convinced that the Prime Minister's decision to nationalize the company was for the greater good of Belize and the BTL employees. The nationalization ended the era of exploitation, where the Ashcroft Group was yanking some $70 million every year out of the Belize economy in dividend payments over a 2-year period, had mortgaged off the company's assets for US $22.5 million, and appeared intent on winding up the company. BTL for many years has been the goose that lays the golden eggs, and now we know the price of those golden eggs. The chicks have come home to roost. During the period of nationalization, the BTL employees have silently endured acts of bad faith and disrespect by management toward union members and its executive. But the union and its members were stunned to learn on Monday, 14 September 2015, that the hostile relationship between the Ashcroft Group and Barrow government had changed overnight to one of rapprochement, unbeknownst to the people of Belize, the employees of the company and the union. What we learned is that the Barrow government was acting from the same script as the Musa government, but more polished and more secretive actors were starring in the film that has now become known as Deja Vu BTL. But the script has remained the same, with one secret meeting that involved only 2 or 3 people on the government's part. 2. Total secrecy in respect to the meetings. 3. Indifference to the employees who have vested interest in the company through the employees' trust and the shares being held in the trust for them. 4. The significantly high cost of the settlement, with a bill running $162 million plus and an undetermined portion yet to be added. 5. The rush to dash through the back door of the National Assembly building to the Governor General's front door to get his assent for the act to become law. And 6. The intentional refusal to extend some courtesy to the union and advise of secret negotiations leading to a settlement that was ongoing. The Musa administration enriched the Ashcroft Group by giving them a 15% return on investment through the accommodation agreement. Barrow administration has done worse by saddling all Belizeans from the cradle to those on their way to their graves with a whooping $162 million plus of Belizean sweat dollars to the national debt, a figure that represents more than 15% of the national debt, and that is not the final figure due to Ashcroft. This money will come from dividends due shareholders, Social Security contributions, and the hard-earned dollars of BTL's customers. All this was done in secrecy to make Mr. Ashcroft happy and a bunch of lawyers millions of dollars richer, while we, the taxpayers of Belize and workers of BTL, must now carry this increased debt burden with us every day. This is a slap in the face of all Belizeans. To add to their release, there was a protest during the lunch hours in downtown Belize City, where the head of the Belize Communications Workers Union, Michael Augustus, told the media that the union members are standing in solidarity.
Our reason for being out here is because we are meeting on them, we're discussing them, but we believe that feedback that we're getting, or the membership believes that when we took it back to them, that it's not enough, it's not timely enough, and therefore action needs to be taken. Hence the reason why we're out here. During this hour when a lot of our staff, more than 70% are working, if you can see the turnout in support and in solidarity. Staff, they're totally behind this. We would not have made the move unless we've had the majority. I was asked by my membership not to speak, not to comment. I think I went for.
With the unions coming together, the management at Belize Telemedia is disappointed at the way the unions are addressing the matter. In a release sent this evening, the company's board of directors stated that they are, quote, disappointed that the Belize Communications Workers Union made the decision to issue its scathing press release that last night under the headline, BTL employees discussed, without first seeking to take advantage of the established avenues available for the resolution of issues within the company. The release goes on to state that the history of BTL has always shown cooperation with its staff when it comes to addressing issues and concerns before they emerge as disputes within the union. It added, quote, while the board takes note of the union's concerns regarding the recent settlement of the BTL nationalization cases, the only issues in the press release which lie within the purview of the management and the board of directors of BTL are those which the BCWU describes as lingering and unresolved. These 4 issues are listed on page 3 of their release. In keeping with the established practice of dispute resolution, the board has today extended an invitation to the executive of the union to meet and engage in meaningful dialogue on those issues at any time and at their convenience. End of quote. The 4th paragraph basically continues to reiterate the company's high regard for its staff and their assurance of fair treatment.